This dappled September sunlight is so magical, but as soon as I get the camera set up, the shadows have changed, but I think this looks pretty good, so we're gonna stick with it. Why, hello there friends, it's Emma here, the Bookish Princess. Fall has officially arrived. There's this beautiful crispness in the air. When I look out over the hills, I can see just a few trees starting to change color. It's just such a magical time of year. So exciting to come out into my garden because my sunflowers are finally blooming, and the summer was a bit of a struggle in the garden, but I feel like things are finally coming together. Honestly, generally, April through August felt like it was just one thing after the next, but I'm ready for a fall reset. September feels like an excellent time to make a fresh start, maybe because so many schools and semesters start at this time of year. It just feels like a good time to get re-energized and reorganized, and that is what we are doing in today's vlog. I am gonna have my September reading wrap up next week on Monday, so stay tuned, make sure you subscribe. That is coming soon. I've been doing lots of excellent reading, but today I thought I'd just show you some fun fall decor things, give you some updates from the garden, and also get back on track with my writing project. So another reason September and the start of fall feels like a good time for fresh beginnings is probably because exactly 2 years ago, right here in my garden in a little tree hollow, a little kitten appeared and introduced me to the world of cats, which I knew nothing about before. Her arrival seemed so much like something out of a storybook that I had to write and illustrate a storybook about it. And 1 year ago was when the first book of Cymbeline came out. Cymbeline is, of course, my charismatic kitten. She is now 2 years old, just a thriving apex predator. So my plan with the book of Cymbeline is to have 4 parts, and there are 2 parts out right now. We have the first one, which is from summer to fall, and the second one, which is from fall to winter. The third book will be from winter to spring, unsurprisingly, and I am determined to have it out by the end of the year. Yes, if you want to check out the first 2 books of Cymbeline, they're available on Amazon as a paperback or an ebook. They're children's books with the illustrations and the length, but I think anyone would enjoy them, especially cat owners. It has been really fun in the books to capture all the funny little, cat quirks and cat anecdotes, but also the beauty of the changing seasons. My YouTube channel and my Substack and like all of my online work is just a hobby I do for fun, after my 9 to 5. And I feel like the videos and the blog posts and like the books, like they kind of compete against each other for my spare time, but sometimes they can work together, because I was thinking that if I plan to do a sort of mini writing vlog, well, that will motivate me to sit down and really make some progress and have some things to show you guys. Before we sit down and get to work, I thought I'd give you a quick update on the garden. As I mentioned, it's been a bit of a struggle this season, but that makes this late September flowering all the more delightful. My gladiolus bulbs really came through. I planted them in front of what I now call Cymbeline Hollow. I put them in the ground in waves, so the blooms have also come in waves, which has been wonderful. On the whole, I've found that the most reliable plants in my garden are the bulbs that I put directly in the soil, the gladiolus and the dahlias. I did try starting some dahlias early inside this year, and they're doing well, but there were also some dahlias that I direct sowed once it was warm enough, and they actually seem a little more sturdy than the ones that started early inside, and there's been no difference, like they bloomed at the same time. I mentioned in one of my spring garden updates that I was attempting to grow dahlias from seed this year as well, and out of the dozens of seeds that I planted, I had one sole survivor, but it is producing gorgeous orange flowers, so I will take the win. I started a ton of seedlings indoors quite early in March, and I sadly lost a huge percentage of them. They were mostly morning glories and moonflowers. Sadly, I did not have any moonflower survivors, but on the flip side, my mother has had the most amazing moonflower year ever. So whenever I go home, I've enjoyed her gorgeous moonflowers. The petals are like silk. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful flower. I did also try some sunflower seeds indoors, and I wasn't too surprised that they didn't come up early, because I had read that they prefer to go directly in the ground once the soil soil's warm enough. But even with direct sowing, I struggled so much with sunflowers this year. I was using seeds from last year's sunflowers, and I don't know if that was the problem, or if the soil was depleted, or if I just got unlucky with birds digging up the seeds and seedlings. But I planted my sunflower bed 3 times throughout the spring to no avail. I was about ready to give up, but I decided to do one last try. I ordered a packet of new seeds online. It was the middle of July when I planted them, and I basically had no expectation that they would amount to anything. But as you will have already gathered from the footage that you're watching, they did come up and they've been blooming beautifully. I did a video back in May about how gardening is an act of prayer and an act of praise and a way to connect with God. And I've definitely experienced that this year. You have to do your best to be a good steward of your garden, but at the same time, you surrender your expectations and you swallow the disappointments and you trust in God's timing. You remind yourself that nothing can stop the blooms that God has planned for you from arriving. Both the actual blooms in your physical garden, but also the metaphorical blooms in your general garden of life. I would have thought middle of July was too late for sunflowers to have any chance, but here they are looking glorious. It has been a little hard not to compare this year's garden to last year's garden because last year's sunflowers started to arrive in the middle of July when I planted this year's seeds, and they were quite spectacular. My morning glories also last year were gorgeous, but I've had an extremely pernicious gopher or groundhog, I'm not sure what exactly, but he comes around and he snips this morning glories right at their roots. I had gorgeous lush vines covering both of these trellises, and I tried to keep him away with like deer netting and spray and stuff, but he came in and he got them, and I'm honestly shocked that I have any morning glories right now that I managed to outwit the gopher. I'm actually thinking of putting in a gopher villain in the book of Cymbeline. Beatrix Potter, who was herself a gardener, so like must have known the frustration of rabbits and gophers that come, like he didn't even eat the morning glories, he just destroyed them. And Peter Rabbit, like Peter Rabbit is cute and fun, people like him. And yet, was Beatrix Potter also just seething with resentment inside when she wrote about him? Like was she secretly on the side of the gardener? And then the crowning disaster in the garden was that a branch from one of these trees in a big windstorm came right down on top of the garden. And actually it flattened both of my morning glory arches to the ground. And when that happened, I was like, okay, it's over. But surprisingly, got the branch cleared away. The 2 arches, I was able to just push them back up. Nothing was broken. The remaining vines weren't broken. And so now it's not as lush as last year's morning glory vines, but they are looking beautiful. I tried to do the 3 sisters planting, which is corn with peas and squash. And the peas got eaten up. The squash, honestly, I didn't even plant because I just ran out of time. But we do have 1 sister. See, maybe next year we'll succeed with 2 sisters. But the corn have been doing great. And I've even eaten my first corn. I came right out, picked it, and cooked it right away, which was so satisfying. My tomatoes are doing really well too. I even have a little eggplant, so hopefully he will survive. Yeah, I'm really hoping that the mild, just a little bit of crispness in the air, September weather sticks around for a little longer so that I can have a little bit longer in my garden. Being able to cut my own bouquets from my own garden and put together, you know, a little assortment of bouquets is just one of the best things about having a garden. I have to admit, most of my fall decorations, especially like the truly Halloween ones, I will save until October. But I do have some fun things. I love this tablecloth. I found it last year at Target. It's just the perfect colors and so delicate. Here are my current flower arrangements, which the roses are the only thing that I did not grow myself. Otherwise, I did grow the dahlias and the lovely sunflowers. Here's one thing to add to your fall reset to-do list. Get yourself to the library. I finally got to the library. I'd been wanting to take part in, well, Shakestember and Tudor-tember. So this Mary Queen of Scots biography, which I admittedly have not started yet, is my Tudor-tember. And then I did also get a copy, it's not here, of Romeo and Juliet for Shakestember. I finally found my Linnets and Valerians book, so I'm totally gonna be sharing some quotations from that in my September reading blog. See, I'm tempted right now to, like, I don't know, tell you things about these books, but I'm going to save it for the reading blog. Library visit always just feels very refreshing and fun. And I always have such a list of things I'm meaning to get at the library, things that I don't really want to buy for my shelves, but you know, that at the same time I want to read. I've got some little pumpkin pillows here. I was just trying to remember where I got these. I think Joann's, maybe Michael's. You could watch last year's September videos, because I think I probably mentioned it, where I bought them in those. And then here's one book I've been meaning to get out. A very fallish, Halloweeny book. Where is it? I'm planning to reread Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde for our October book club. This book always reminds me of the Haunted Mansion because of the picture of Master Gracie at the Haunted Mansion. I always think of Picture of Dorian Gray, which, speaking of Haunted Mansion, I feel like I should mention I am not going to be putting up an announcement and like TBR and new challenges for the Boo to You Readathon this year. Last year was the Boo to You Readathon's 5th year. We did a really fun wrap up of it in this sort of haunted house. If you never caught that video, you should definitely go and watch it. Part of me feels like that was a good place to wrap it up after 5 years. But another part of me feels like maybe another fall I will want to pick it up again. So this is sort of a hiatus year for Boo to You Readathon, a DIY Boo to You Readathon year, because I feel like so many people's TBRs at this time of year already have stuff that totally fits the sort of Disney, spooky, not so scary vibes. But you could consider our book club pick of Picture of Dorian Gray to be a sort of Boo to You Readathon light, if you want to interpret it that way. And if you want to join the book club, just send me an email, emma@bookishprincess.com, and I will add you to the email list. We meet once a month and discuss a different book every month. And yeah, this is going to be October's book, October 28th, I think, but I'm very excited to read that. I wanted to tell you guys about my new wall art here because I just recently purchased these American Girl doll prints. They're not official, they're from Etsy. Marissa Kate Creations, I believe, was the creator's name. I'll have to make sure I link her Etsy shop in the description. But aren't these so darling? Ah, they're just so stylish, and I just love the aesthetic. Fun to have a little, almost a little American Girl bunting going across. But it's perfect that the light is fading because the main decor thing that I wanted to show you guys, which if you saw the short that I posted a while ago, you'll already seen this partially, but I got some new lighting. So this actually, though, was not in the short. I got a very cute little flower lamp. Here, let's turn it on. Isn't that just darling? I found it on Wayfair. I saw it a while ago and it went out of stock, but then it came back in stock, which is a good lesson on Wayfair. If what you want is out of stock, just keep an eye out. But yeah, I just think it's so cute. I've been meaning to get some lamps for in here. And then the most exciting thing are the backlit bookshelves, which look pretty fabulous. I just love these. And of course, it has like a little controller here. You can change the color. It doesn't, oh, there we go. Sometimes I have to be really close to this one in particular to get it to. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, there we go. They're purple. Isn't that crazy? The mood lighting here is just next level here. There we can turn on the fade. We'll make it do different colors. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with these, honestly. They're very, they feel very next level. I feel like I'm truly a YouTuber now that I have like a backlit, neon backlighting. These also were Wayfair. I will try to remember to put the name of it. What was it called? They're LED lights. They're, oh, there was a word for the light type. But yeah, they're just kind of straight rods and they fit right there in the corner and look pretty fabulous, if I do say so myself. I'm happy to say that I have been making good progress on the third book of Cymbeline. So much of writing is just taking the time to sit down and stare at the screen and wrestle with the words until they come out right. But I'm feeling like I have a pretty good handle on the manuscript and the illustrations. I've been getting started, both helped and hindered by the cat herself. I'm aiming for a November release date for the third book of Cymbeline, and then hopefully in 2024 we'll finish up the series with the fourth book. It's crazy how close the end of the year is. I have been sitting down to try to make myself some goals of what I want to do before the year ends. I'd love to make myself more of a schedule for my YouTube and Substack uploads in the new year. I know I've been a little bit spotty about them, and I'm not sure how much my fall reset has succeeded, because I meant to get this video up on Monday, and here it's going up on Friday. But maybe that's part of the process of a reset, is just accepting the place and the pace that you are at. I hope you've all been having a lovely start to your fall, and I hope that you enjoyed this fun little slice of life September vlog. I'll see you on Monday in my September reading wrap up. Until then, stay bookish, friends. Bye.